while we're on a break from the impeachment hearings, I thought I'd play a couple of those for you. One of my great heroes is George Carlin, and Carlin passed away some years ago. But he makes a comment that's very clear. When we think about the senators who are not going to impeach Donald Trump, they will not, they absolutely will not. It was decided in advance before they walked into the building. And then when they took the oath of impartiality, they're going to break that oath. When we think about them, we have to be very clear about who they are and whom they represent. If you think they represent, some interest, like the evangelicals or the Southern blacks or some group of a particular kind of Republican, if you think they represent that, that's not the case. And many years ago, George Carlin was very clear. And now the people that they do represent, those people have their man in the White House. So let's take a listen to George Carlin on that.
Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hardworking people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hardworking people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
George Carlin, one of the greats in this country. And earlier today, I was looking at that and thinking about what we're going through here in the Senate right now. You know, before it all started, many friends of mine said, I don't even know why you're bothering. You know that the Senate is partisan and it favors the Republicans. This is going to require a 2/3 vote. Something like 20 Republicans are going to have to step up, you know, for this to happen. And the feeling from the beginning of this has been against it in such a kind of tricky way. And I don't know. I've been watching it here, and I don't know if you've been watching. I know you haven't been watching it with me, but I mean, maybe later you could check it out. I do think there are principles involved here that are much larger than uh, the question of this Ukraine situation. I mean, the right wing is trying to convince me now that Biden was involved in something and that the entire intelligence community was being used by the Democrats to hide something. And I just find that the architecture of that is just so elaborate. It reminds me of what people say when people give you too many details, they're lying. Right? It reminds me of that in a lot of ways. We're on a break from the Senate until 4 o'clock. That's in about 15 minutes. We are covering the Senate impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. I am Karthik Rajan. We just listened to some George Carlin. And I thought we'd put some tunes on and relax a little bit.